When Animal Crossing New Horizons launched just a few days ago, watching the package arrive and jumping right into it was truly the start of a wondrous adventure. I've been playing like a madman since launch, and I feel like I've experienced enough to make an early review of the game. Here's my early review of Animal Crossing New Horizons. I was surprised to see a prologue in Animal Crossing New Horizons. In the first few real days, Tom Nook sets you on missions to attract new islanders, build attractions, and develop the island. As much as I like this idea, it restrained me from exploring some of the main wonders of the game so far. Some examples of these features that I haven't experienced yet are terraforming, bug-offs, fishing tourneys, Isabelle, party play, hourly music, and the town hall. Other than that, I feel like I've seen a good portion of Animal Crossing New Horizons content. Let's get into my impressions of the first few days of Animal Crossing New Horizons. The game starts out at an airport with Timmy and Tommy Nook. Timmy and Tommy Nook ask you some main questions for the game, like hemisphere, gender, birthday, and you even get to customize your own character. The large range of options gave me a ton of freedom, which I really enjoyed. After you pick your island and character, you're transported to your new island. 2 random islanders are chosen to come with you, and you're all brought to Resident Plaza. Tom Nook lets you pick your tent and lets you actually choose everybody else's, which adds to the freedom you have on your island. And I like how they incorporated story elements, like the other villagers couldn't really find their tent, so Tom Nook kind of made you help them. So it wasn't just Tom Nook ordering you around and giving you all this responsibility. You actually have to earn it by doing some tasks. After that, Tom Nook makes you go on a little scavenger hunt for sticks and fruit for the celebration. I was a little disappointed because I got apples again after New Leaf, but the huge overhaul on graphics made it feel like a whole new fruit. When the scavenger hunt is complete, Tom Nook gathers everyone and you can choose a name for your island. The ones that the other islanders choose were actually pretty funny. After that, you head to bed, even though in my time it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but time hadn't been synced up yet. I was pleasantly surprised to see KK Slider in my dream. It was a really nice touch to include him, and I know a lot of fans are going to be pleased about that. When you wake up, time is synced with the real world, and the adventure begins. For the next few days, Tom Nook basically sets you on quests to develop the island. As much as I like this, for the first few real-time days, the island is still waking up. The game even slows you from doing everything by making buildings take a whole day to build, and one day, Tom Nook just flat out told me that I had done a lot and should take a break for the day. I wanted more. It was only 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I just wanted to jump right in, but I feel like the game restrains you a bit. As the game goes on, this doesn't feel as much as a problem, but I much prefer New Leaf's beginning, when you have a bridge, town hall, main street, and some houses already built, so you're not just starting from scratch like in New Horizons. After watching the direct so many times, I wanted to jump right into the game, but it keeps holding you back for days and days and days. I just wanted to experience everything. The quests do get less boring as the game goes on, but really should it take 6 to 7 real-time days to unlock hourly music? Should that really happen? The prologue music was okay, but I was tired of hearing it. After like 20 minutes, it's the same repetitive tune over and over, and I know there's phases of it, but they just add like a little guitar string. Like I need more if I'm gonna listen to this for so many days. The long prologue does make a building being finally constructed feel a lot more rewarding. Waiting for the museum to be built was worse than waiting for Pikmin 4 to come out. The first day was actually pretty frustrating because the airport was closed and I really couldn't do anything after an hour of gameplay. You get the vaulting pole way too late also. With the map I picked, I was trapped by the river for a few days. I just wanted to explore my island. I just wish the game gave you at least some stuff at the start, instead of making you wait just to get a ladder or wait to walk from one end of your island to the next. Even though the long prologue is a bit annoying, once you get a few days into the game, the problem will completely vanish. It's not a problem you'll always see, just a minor inconvenience in the early stages of a playthrough. Now, enough rambling about the prologue. Materials and crafting were great additions. Getting materials to craft was actually pretty fun. Animal Crossing even learned from Breath of the Wild about breaking weapons. It saw that fans were mad about them breaking too easily, so they made it a feature where once you craft something, you're able to buy it from the shop, which doesn't force you to find materials and craft it again and again and again, so on and so forth. Also, for the graphics, they are beautiful. Everything is so crisp and clear. The colors are vibrant and shine so well. The water is in a league of its own too. The waterfalls and waves are gorgeous to look at, and it just brings the island so much to life. One of the most beautiful areas in the game was the museum. This was the feature I was most excited for, and it delivered. After 3 days of painful waiting, my dream came true, and the museum was finally open. Each exhibit was made with such thoughtful care. The plant life and flowing water is gorgeous, and seeing my fish, bugs, and dug-up fossils on display felt rewarding for my work to obtain them. The lighting is expertly made too. The fish exhibits in the dark with the light from the water feel so surreal, and the reflections from the fossil and the fossil exhibit feel perfect. I actually really enjoyed how the museum was made too. After collecting bugs and fish taken to Tom Nook, he actually calls Blathers to invite him to the island. Once Blathers arrives, you have to find him 15 specimens before he constructs the museum. Planning where the museum would go was also fun. It just gives you so much more freedom. Another big feature was the Nook Phone. At first, I thought it was okay at the Direct, but now playing with it, the Nook Phone is super useful. You can see all your DIY recipes instead of having to go to the workbench. You can take photos, see the Critterpedia, which keeps track of the diverse creatures you've caught, and do a lot of features, but my favorite app in the Nook Phone was Nook Miles. When watching the Direct, I thought it would interfere with the Bell currency a lot, but it works fine from what I've seen. Getting money just for doing daily tasks, I love it. It adds that extra type of objective in an Animal Crossing game. The Nook Stop at Resident Services lets you buy exclusive items like clothing, accessories, useful abilities like a larger inventory, and the tool wheel, but the best thing in my opinion is the Nook Miles ticket. This item allows you to fly to new islands with Dodo Airlines, which I thought was a great feature. These new islands let you completely loot them, because once you leave, the island's gone forever, so it's all yours for the taking. These allow you to restock on materials without destroying your own island. I loved how if you eat fruit, you get strength, which can be used to break stones and completely uproot trees, which is super useful for bringing coconut trees back to your main island. Another fun feature is that you can find other islanders on these new islands. Speaking of islanders, I love the islanders in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Exploring their personalities is always fun, and their voices are just adorable. My pals Biff and Renee were my first 2 islanders, and I know we'll be best friends. One feature in Animal Crossing New Horizons that I was shocked to see was multiple stories of ground. I knew there were 2-story hills, which were new to this series, but I would have never guessed that there would be multiple layers. Climbing the mountains was so cool, and seeing the water flow down the mountains to rivers and waterfalls was so much fun. The multiple stories of the game adds depth to the gameplay. Probably the thing I was most disappointed about was the music. The soundtrack is great. Every hourly theme perfectly captures the time. The event themes are my favorite too. The Resident Services tent theme, island theme, and main theme are so great. Now the reason why I'm disappointed is because you can't actually listen to most of the soundtrack until almost a week after you start the game, in real time. The Prologue theme was okay, but it's nowhere near good enough to play for days on end. I want to listen to the wonderful soundtrack, but the long prologue pulls me away from it. Once the prologue finishes, I know it won't be a big problem, but come on please, the prologue is just too long. Still, more than 10 hours in, 4 days after launch, the game is still holding me back from the wonderful soundtrack and a big handful of much anticipated features. I had to wait to make this review, even because I didn't think I'd experienced enough to make this review. I may be going a bit too hard on the prologue, but this can also be taken as a compliment for how badly I want to experience more of this game. Every morning I race to my Switch to see if the museum was done, or if my house was finished, or if some other thing was completed. If someone's doing that, you know you've struck something good. A lot of the reviewers have given this game praise, but most of the features they've experienced already, because they've either got it early or made use of the Switch clock to change their time. But right now, I'd give Animal Crossing a strong 8.5 out of 10. But every day my score for the game keeps going up, with the new features being able to be played with. By the time the prologue finishes, I'm sure it will be way past 9 out of 10. But with what I've experienced, 8.5 is all I can give it. But that's still a great score. I love this game so much, and it definitely lives up to what I wanted it to. Even though the prologue is long, I'm still having so much fun with it, and it's a great game. And I know that when the prologue finishes, I'm gonna keep having so much fun with everything Animal Crossing New Horizons has to offer. Thank you so much for watching. Potato Sensei,